The Wait in the Dark. An Coco story. Written by Mikey of Saltline Studio. There is a sound that does not belong in your daughter's bedroom. You know this, the way you know your own heartbeat. The way you know the difference between the house settling and the house waking. You have lived in this apartment for 3 years. You know which floorboards creak. You know the rhythm of the radiator. You know the soft click of the kitchen clock, the distant hum of the refrigerator, the occasional groan of pipes in the walls. This sound is none of those. It comes from Lucia's room. A slow exhale, a breath drawn out too long, too deliberate, too aware. You tell yourself it is the wind through the gap in her window frame. You tell yourself she is dreaming, talking in her sleep the way she sometimes does. You tell yourself there is nothing in her room that was not there when you kissed her forehead and turned off the light. But you do not move. You lie in bed, eyes open, staring at the ceiling, and you listen. The breathing continues. It is patient. It is measured. It has the rhythm of something that has been breathing in the dark for a very, very long time. And then it stops. The silence that follows is worse than the sound. It is the silence of something that knows it has been heard. Something that is listening back. You hold your breath. You count the seconds. 1, 2, 3. From Lucia's room, you hear the soft creak of the closet door. Just settling. You tell yourself. Just the wood contracting in the cold night air. But you do not believe it. Not really. Not anymore. The first time Sofia heard about El Coco, she was 7 years old, lying in the narrow bed of her grandmother's house in a village outside Seville. The shutters were closed against the summer heat, but the room was still warm, the air thick and slow, heavy with the smell of olive trees and dry earth. She had been told to sleep. The adults were still talking in the kitchen, their voices a low murmur, punctuated by the clink of glasses and the occasional burst of laughter. Sofia could see the light under her door, a thin golden line that seemed impossibly far away. She was not tired. She wanted to be with them, to listen to their stories, to stay awake until the stars came out and the night cooled and the world became mysterious and alive. She slipped out of bed. The tiles were cool under her bare feet, a relief after the heat of the day. She made it 3 steps toward the door before her grandmother's voice stopped her. "Where are you going, little one?" Abuela Rosa stood in the doorway, a shadow against the dim light from the hallway. Sofia could not see her face, only her outline, the shape of her apron, the curve of her gray hair pinned back from her temples. She did not seem angry. She did not seem surprised. She seemed like someone who had been waiting. "I can't sleep," Sofia said. "Then lie down and close your eyes." "But I'm not tired." Her grandmother crossed the room in 3 slow steps. She did not rush. She never rushed. There was a patience to her movements, a deliberateness, as though she had learned long ago that hurrying accomplished nothing. She took Sofia's hand, her palm dry and papery, her grip gentle but firm, and led her back to the bed. "You must sleep," Abuela Rosa said, tucking the sheet around her, smoothing it over her chest, her legs, her feet. Little girls who stay awake when they should be sleeping. El Coco comes for them. Sofia felt something cold settle in her stomach. A weight. A warning. Who is El Coco? Her grandmother's face was unreadable in the darkness. The light from the hallway caught the edge of her cheek, the corner of her eye, but left everything else in shadow. "He lives in the places children are not supposed to look," she said, "in closets that stay closed, in corners where the light does not reach, under beds where little feet should not dangle. He is very old, Sofia. Older than this house, older than this village, older than memory. What does he do? He waits. Abuela Rosa smoothed the hair back from Sofia's forehead, her touch feather-light. He waits for children who do not sleep. Children who stay awake when the world is dark and quiet. He watches them through the cracks in closet doors. He listens to them breathe. And when he is certain they are awake, when he is certain they know he is there, he takes them where? But her grandmother only shook her head. Her eyes caught the light for a moment, dark, deep, holding something Sofia did not understand. Something that might have been memory. Something that might have been grief. Sleep now, Sofia. Close your eyes. Do not get out of bed until morning. Do not look at the closet. Do not listen for sounds in the dark. Just sleep. She left the room, pulling the door mostly shut behind her, leaving only a thin sliver of light from the hallway. A lifeline, a barrier between Sofia and the darkness. Sofia lay very still. She stared at the closet door across the room. It was closed. She had seen her grandmother close it when they put away her suitcase that afternoon. The latch had clicked. The wood had settled. It was closed. But now, in the darkness, she was not certain. The door seemed to breathe, to shift, to settle on its hinges as though something inside was leaning against it, testing its weight, measuring its strength. She pulled the sheet up to her chin. She squeezed her eyes shut. She counted backward from 100, the way her mother had taught her, letting each number carry her further from the waking world. She did not open her eyes again until morning. But in the space between waking and sleeping, in that threshold where dreams begin to form, she heard something, a breath, a whisper, a voice that might have been the wind, might have been the house, might have been nothing at all. Dermot. Nino. That was 32 years ago. Sofia is a mother now. She lives in a small apartment in Barcelona with her husband Miguel and their daughter Lucia, who is 5 years old and afraid of nothing. Lucia does not fear the dark. She does not fear thunderstorms or spiders or the sound of sirens in the street. She runs through the apartment laughing, climbs on furniture, asks endless questions about everything she sees. She is bright and brave and full of life, with her father's dark eyes and her mother's stubborn chin. But she does not sleep. Every night, the same battle. Lucia does not want to go to bed. She wants one more story, one more glass of water, one more kiss. She wants to know why the moon changes shape, why dogs bark at night, why the street lamp outside her window flickers sometimes. She wants to count the glow-in-the-dark stars on her ceiling, to rearrange her stuffed animals in order of size, to check that her drawings are still taped to the wall in exactly the right positions. She wants anything but sleep. You need to rest, Sofia tells her, sitting on the edge of the bed. Growing girls need sleep. I'm not tired, Lucia says. The same words Sofia said to her grandmother all those years ago. The same resistance. The same certainty that sleep is a waste of time. That the night holds better things than dreams. Close your eyes anyway. Sleep will come. What if it doesn't? Sofia hesitates. The old warning rises in her throat. Unbidden. El Coco comes for little girls who stay awake. She can hear her grandmother's voice in her memory, soft and certain. She can feel the weight of those words, the way they settled into her bones and stayed there. She pushes them down. It will, she says. Trust me. She turns off the light. She pulls the door mostly closed, leaving a thin sliver of light from the hallway. The same way her grandmother did. The same barrier. The same lifeline. From her bedroom, she hears Lucia get out of bed. The soft pad of small feet on the wooden floor. The creak of the closet door opening. The rustle of Lucia looking for something. A toy, a book, whatever has caught her attention now. Sofia sighs. She returns to the room. Lucia, bed. I was just... Now. She tucks her daughter in again. She smooths the hair back from her forehead. Her hand pauses. For a moment, just a moment, she wants to say it. El Coco comes for little girls who stay awake. The words are right there, heavy on her tongue, pressing against her teeth, but she swallows them. She does not believe in El Coco. She is an adult. She knows that the darkness is empty, that closets hold only clothes, that the sounds in the night are only the building settling, only the wind, only the ordinary music of an old city going to sleep. She knows this. She leaves the room. She does not look at the closet. The first child goes missing 2 weeks later. It is a boy from Lucia's preschool, Thomas. He is 4 years old, small for his age, with dark curly hair and a gap-toothed smile that makes everyone who sees it smile back. Sofia has seen him at school pickup, running across the playground, climbing the wooden structure, shouting to the other children in that pure, joyful way that only very young children can. One morning, he is not there. The teachers speak in low voices. The parents cluster in groups, their faces pale, their phones clutched in their hands. Someone heard something from someone else who spoke to the police. The details are unclear, fragmentary, impossible. Thomas was in his bed when his parents checked on him at 11. They had stood in the doorway, watching him sleep, the way parents do. His breathing was soft and steady. His nightlight cast gentle shadows on the wall. Everything was as it should be. By morning, he was gone. No sign of forced entry. No sound in the night. His window was closed and locked from the inside. His door was locked from the inside. His toys were undisturbed, his blanket still warm when his mother came to wake him. He was simply gone, as though he had never existed, as though the night had reached in and taken him, leaving nothing behind but an empty bed and a mother's scream. "It's terrible," Miguel says that night, shaking his head over the news on his phone. The police have no leads, no witnesses, nothing. It's like he just vanished. Sofia nods. She is standing in the doorway of Lucia's room, watching her daughter sleep. Lucia is curled on her side, one arm wrapped around her stuffed rabbit, her breathing slow and steady. Safe, present, real. She went down easily tonight, Miguel says, coming to stand beside her. She did. That's good. Maybe she's finally settling into a routine. Sofia does not answer. She is looking at the closet door. It is closed. She closed it herself after putting Lucia to bed, making sure the latch clicked, making sure the wood settled into its frame. It seems closer than it was this afternoon, as though it has shifted inward an inch or two, as though something inside is pressing against it, testing its weight, measuring the distance to the bed. She blinks. The door is where it has always been. "Come to bed," Miguel says, his hand warm on her shoulder. "There's nothing we can do about Tomas. The police will find him." "Yes," Sofia says. "They will." She closes Lucia's door. She goes to bed. She does not sleep. The days pass. Tomas is not found. The news stops talking about him. The parents at school stop clustering in worried groups. Life continues, the way it always does, the way it must. But something has changed. Sofia finds herself checking on Lucia more often. Once when she goes to bed, once around midnight, once more before dawn. She tells herself it is normal. She tells herself any parent would do the same after a child goes missing in the neighborhood. She does not tell herself that she is listening for breathing that does not belong. Lucia has started having nightmares. She wakes in the middle of the night, crying out, tangled in her sheets. Sofia goes to her, holds her close, strokes her hair until the trembling stops. "What's wrong, mi amor? What did you dream?" "There was someone in my room. It was just a dream. He was standing by the closet. He was watching me." Lucia's voice is very small, very certain. I could feel him looking at me. Even with my eyes closed, I could feel it. Sofia's heart stutters. What did he look like? I couldn't see. It was too dark. Lucia presses closer, her small body warm and trembling. But I could hear him breathing. Slow, like he was waiting for something. "It was just a dream," Sofia says again. The words feel hollow. "There's no one here. See? Just you and me and your rabbit." She turns on the lamp. The room is empty. The closet door is closed. The window is latched. Everything is as it should be. Everything is exactly where she left it. But when she turns off the lamp and looks back at the closet, she sees, or thinks she sees, a thin line of darkness at the bottom of the door. A gap where the door does not quite meet the floor. And in that gap, just for a moment, she sees the darkness move. A shift, a thickening, as though something on the other side has leaned closer to look through. She blinks. The gap is gone. The door is flush with the floor. It must have been a shadow. It must have been her eyes adjusting to the dark. It must have been nothing. It must have been nothing. The second child goes missing on a Tuesday. A girl this time. Elena, 6 years old. She lived in the apartment building across the street, the one with the blue shutters and the bougainvillea climbing up the walls. Sofia saw her sometimes in the courtyard, playing hopscotch or chasing pigeons or drawing pictures on the pavement with colored chalk. The circumstances are the same. The parents put her to bed. They read her a story. They kissed her goodnight. They checked on her before they went to sleep, standing in the doorway the way parents do, watching her breathe. By morning, she was gone. No sign of struggle. No noise in the night. Nothing disturbed. Her bed was still made on one side, the sheets barely rumpled, as though she had been lifted out of them without waking. Her stuffed dog was still on her pillow, waiting for her to come back. She never did. The police interview the neighbors. They go door to door, asking questions, taking notes, looking for patterns that don't exist. They interview Sofia and Miguel. They ask if they heard anything, saw anything, noticed anything unusual. Nothing, Sofia says. We were asleep. But she remembers waking around 3 a.m. She remembers lying in the darkness, staring at the ceiling, listening. She remembers hearing something, or thinking she heard something, from Lucia's room. A breath, a whisper, a weight settling onto the floor. She got up. She went to check. Lucia was asleep, her rabbit clutched to her chest, her breathing soft and even. The room was empty. The window was closed. The closet door was closed, but there was a smell, faint, almost imperceptible, like old cloth, like dust, like something that had been shut away in the dark for a very long time. Something that had learned patience in the endless waiting. She did not mention this to the police. What would she say? I smelled something strange in my daughter's room. They would think she was paranoid, hysterical, a mother driven mad by fear. Maybe she is. That night, Lucia does not want to go to bed. Please, she says, clinging to Sofia's hand with both of hers. Can I sleep with you and Papa? Just tonight? Please. You're a big girl. Big girls sleep in their own beds. But what if he comes back? Sofia kneels down to look her daughter in the eye. Who? My Amor, the man. The one who watches. Lucia's eyes are very large, very dark. He's real, Mama. I know he is. I can feel him. Sofia feels the cold settle in her stomach again. The same cold she felt in her grandmother's house 32 years ago. The weight of a warning she did not understand then. The weight of a truth she does not want to understand now. There's nothing in your closet, she says. Come. I'll show you. She takes Lucia's hand and leads her to the bedroom. She turns on the light, the overhead light, not just the lamp, filling the room with brightness. She walks to the closet and opens the door. Inside, Lucia's dresses on hangers, arranged by color. Her shoes on the floor, paired and neat. A box of old toys in the corner, waiting to be donated. A shelf with folded sweaters. A hook with a robe. Nothing else. See? Nothing to be afraid of. Lucia stares into the closet. Her face is pale in the bright light. She does not move forward. She does not reach out to touch her dresses or her toys. She stands very still, very small, like a rabbit sensing danger. He's not there now, she says finally. He only comes when it's dark. Sofia sits in the living room after Lucia is asleep. Miguel is working late. A deadline, a project, something important. The apartment is quiet. Too quiet. The kind of quiet that presses against your ears, that makes you strain to hear sounds that aren't there. She picks up her phone. She types, El Coco. The results come quickly. Dozens of articles. Hundreds of images. El Coco, El Cuco, the coconut man. The bogeyman of Spanish and Latin folklore. A monster that hides in closets, under beds, in the dark places of children's rooms. A creature summoned by parents to frighten disobedient children into sleep. The images are varied. Some show a hooded figure. Some show a shadow with claws. Some show nothing at all. Just darkness. Just the suggestion of a shape where no shape should be. Duermete, niño. Duermete ya, que viene el coco y te comerá. Sleep, child. Sleep now. Or El Coco will come and eat you. Sofia remembers her grandmother singing that lullaby. She remembers the tune, soft and lilting, almost sweet, a melody that could have been a comfort, if not for the words, if not for the warning hidden inside the song. She did not remember the words until now. The articles describe El Coco as a myth, a cautionary tale, a tool parents use to enforce bedtime. Some say he is a ghost. Some say he is a demon. Some say he is nothing at all, just a story. passed down through generations, given power only by belief. But there are other results too. Older sources, darker sources, forum posts, and blog entries, and academic papers that treat the legend with unsettling seriousness. Stories of children who disappeared in the night. Children who were never found. Children who went to bed one evening and simply ceased to exist by morning. The articles call these stories legend, folk, lore, the fears of a more superstitious age. But the children were real. The empty beds were real. The grief was real. Sofia closes her phone. The apartment is very quiet. The clock ticks in the kitchen. The refrigerator hums. Somewhere outside, a car passes, its headlights sweeping across the ceiling. From Lucia's room, she hears a sound, a creak, soft, barely audible, like a closet door, slowly opening. She stands outside Lucia's door for a long time. Her hand rests on the handle. Her heart beats in her throat. Too fast, too loud. She should open the door. She should turn on the light. She should prove to herself that there is nothing there, that the creak was just the wood settling, that her daughter is safe and sleeping. But she remembers her grandmother's words. He lives in the places children are not supposed to look. What if looking is what summons him? What if opening the door is what lets him in? What if the light itself is a kind of invitation, a signal that someone is awake, someone is watching, someone is aware? She listens. The sound does not repeat. The apartment settles into silence, into stillness, into the deep quiet of 3 in the morning, when the world seems to hold its breath. Slowly, carefully, she opens the door. Lucia is asleep. The nightlight casts a soft glow across the floor, painting shadows on the walls. The closet door is closed. The room is empty. Sofia breathes out. She is being foolish. She is letting fear get the better of her, letting her imagination run wild. There is no El Coco. There are no monsters in closets. The children who disappeared were taken by something human. A kidnapper, a predator, someone who will be caught and punished. She closes the door. She goes to bed. She lies awake for hours, listening to the darkness, waiting for a sound that does not come. The days grow shorter. Autumn settles over the city like a blanket. The leaves turn brown and fall from the trees, collecting in gutters and doorways. The nights come earlier, darker, colder. The sun sets by 6, and by 7, the world is wrapped in shadow. Another child goes missing. Then another. Then another. 6 children in 2 months. All of them under the age of 8. All of them taken from their beds in the night. All of them gone without a trace, without a sound, without a single clue left behind. The city is gripped by fear. Parents install locks on bedroom windows, cameras in hallways, alarms on doors. They sleep on floors beside their children's beds. They refuse to let them out of their sight, walking them to school, watching them play, counting them like precious stones. The police hold press conferences. They release sketches of potential suspects. They interview neighbors and teachers and shopkeepers. They do everything they can do. None of it helps. The children keep disappearing. And always the same pattern. Always the locked rooms and the closed windows and the undisturbed beds. Always the parents who checked on them at midnight and found them sleeping. Always the empty rooms in the morning. the blankets still warm, the toys still waiting, as though the children had simply stopped existing, as though something had reached in from the darkness and erased them from the world. Sofia stops sleeping. She cannot sleep. Every time she closes her eyes, she sees Lucia's room. She sees the closet door opening. She sees the darkness inside, thick and heavy, pressing outward like something breathing. She sits in the chair outside Lucia's room every night, watching the door, listening for sounds that do not belong. She hears many things. The building settling, its old bones creaking, the radiator clicking on and off, the distant hum of traffic on the main road, the occasional bark of a dog in the street below, answered by another dog and another, a chain of warnings passing through the night. And sometimes, only sometimes, she hears something else, a breath drawn slowly in the darkness, a weight shifting on the floor, a whisper too soft to make out words, but too clear to be imagined. When she hears these things, she does not open the door. She sits very still in her chair, her hands gripping the arms until her knuckles turn white, her breath caught in her throat like a stone. She waits. Eventually, the sounds stop. The silence returns. And in the morning, Lucia is still there, still asleep, still safe. But Sofia sees the changes. Lucia is paler now, thinner. Her cheekbones are more prominent, her wrists more delicate. She sleeps more, but she wakes tired, as though sleep gives her no rest. There are shadows under her eyes that were not there before. Purple-gray crescents that make her look older, make her look fragile, make her look like something that is slowly being worn away. "Are you feeling all right, mi amor?" Sofia asks one morning. "I'm tired," Lucia says. Her voice is flat, distant. "He keeps waking me up." "Who does?" Lucia looks at her with old eyes. Eyes that have seen something they should not have seen. Eyes that hold a knowledge no 5-year-old should carry. "You know," she says, "you've heard him too." Miguel thinks she is losing her mind. He does not say this outright. He is kind about it. Careful, the way you are careful with something that might break. He suggests she see a doctor. He suggests she take something to help her sleep. He suggests that the stress of the disappearances is affecting her, that she is projecting her fears onto Lucia, that she needs rest and perspective and perhaps a vacation. "There's nothing in her room," he says, his voice patient, reasonable. "I've checked 100 times. The locks are secure. The windows don't open more than an inch. No one can get in." "I know," Sofia says. "Then why do you keep sitting outside her door?" She cannot answer. She cannot explain. How do you tell your husband that you believe something from a children's story is hunting your daughter? How do you tell him that the darkness in the closet is not empty, that something lives there, that it breathes and watches and waits? "I just need to know she's safe," she says. Miguel sighs. He holds her, his arms warm and solid, his heart beating steadily against her cheek. He tells her everything will be all right that night. Sofia sits in her chair, as always. She listens. The apartment is quiet, wrapped in the deep silence of the small hours. Around 2 a.m, she hears Miguel get up. She hears his footsteps in the hallway, soft and shuffling. She hears him go to the bathroom, the door closing, the toilet flushing, the tap running. She hears him return to bed, the mattress creaking as he settles back into sleep. Then she hears another sound. From inside Lucia's room, breathing. It is not Lucia's breathing. Lucia's breath is soft, steady, the gentle rhythm of a sleeping child, light as a butterfly's wings. This breathing is different, deeper, slower. A long inhale that seems to go on forever, drawing in air that does not belong to it, followed by an exhale that fades into silence, that dissolves into the darkness like smoke. Sofia stands. Her legs are shaking, her knees weak. Her hand reaches for the door handle, trembling. The breathing stops. She opens the door. The room is dark. The nightlight has gone out, burned out, or unplugged, or something else entirely. Sofia cannot see anything. Not the bed, not the closet, not the window. The darkness is absolute, total. A darkness that seems to have weight, to have substance, to press against her like water. Lucia? No answer. She reaches for the light switch. Her fingers fumble against the wall, searching. Find it. Flip it. Light floods the room. Lucia is sitting up in bed, her eyes wide open, staring at the closet. The closet door is open, just a few inches, just enough to see the darkness inside. Thick and complete, darker than the darkness around it. Lucia? What happened? Lucia does not move, does not blink. Her gaze is fixed on that open door, on that darkness, on something Sofia cannot see. He was here, she whispers. He touched my face. Sofia's blood turns to ice, a cold so complete it stops her breath, stops her heart, stops time itself. She crosses the room in 2 steps. She grabs the closet door. She throws it open, flooding the space with light. Inside, dresses on hangers, shoes on the floor, a box of old toys in the corner. Nothing else. But the smell is there, stronger now. Old cloth, dust, darkness that has been closed away for centuries. Darkness that has grown thick and patient and hungry. And something else. Something wet, like breath condensed on cold glass, like moisture left behind by something that had been standing very, very close. Sofia calls her mother that night. It is late, past midnight in Barcelona, which means it is past midnight in Seville as well. Her mother answers on the 4th ring, her voice thick with sleep, rough with worry. Sofia? What's wrong? Is it Lucia? Mama, I need to ask you something. About Abuela Rosa? A pause, a silence that stretches too long. What about her? The story she told about El Coco. Did she believe them? Another pause, longer, this time. Sofia can hear her mother breathing, can hear the rustle of bedsheets as she sits up, can hear the click of a lamp being turned on. Why are you asking about this? Just tell me, please. Her mother sighs, a sound of surrender, of reluctant memory. Your grandmother believed many things, Sofia. She was from another time, another world. She grew up in that village when there was no electricity, no running water. The old ways were all they had. Belief was not a choice. It was survival. But did she believe in El Coco? Really believe? Not as a story to frighten children, but as something real? She saw something. Her mother's voice is quiet, careful. When she was a girl, her brother, your great-uncle Mateo, he disappeared. He was 8 years old. They found his bed empty one morning, the covers thrown back, his pillow still holding the shape of his head. No trace of him, ever. Sofia feels the cold spreading through her chest, through her veins, through her bones. I didn't know you had an uncle. We didn't talk about it. It was too painful for her. Even decades later, Even when she was old and the world had changed, she could not speak of him without crying. Her mother pauses. She always said El Coco took him. She said it was because he would not sleep. He would stay awake for hours, playing, wandering the house, looking out windows at the stars. And one night, when the darkness was very deep and very quiet, El Coco came for him. Mama. It's just a story, Sofia. Just something she told herself to make sense of a tragedy. Children went missing in those days. There were no police, no investigations, no Amber Alerts. People needed explanations, so they invented them. They blamed wolves, bandits, demons. El Coco was simply another explanation. A way to give a name to the nameless. What if it's not invented? Sofia's voice cracks, breaks. What if it's real? Silence. Sofia, her mother says carefully. Are you all right? You don't sound like yourself. Children are disappearing here. From their beds, from locked rooms. No one knows how. No one knows why. The police have no suspects, no evidence, nothing. Sofia is crying now, the tears hot and silent on her cheeks. And Lucia. Something is in her room at night, something that breathes, something that watches. She's getting weaker, Mama. She's fading. I can see it. Every day, a little less of her. Every day, a little more of whatever is taking her. You need to see a doctor. I'm not crazy. I didn't say you were. But stress can do strange things. Fear can make us see. I'm not seeing things. Sofia wipes her eyes, but the tears keep coming. I hear it. Every night. And tonight, it touched her face. Her mother is quiet for a long moment. The silence stretches between them, heavy with things unsaid, heavy with fears unspoken. There was something your grandmother used to do. She says finally, I thought it was superstition. Madness even, the remnants of a mind that had known too much grief. But she did it every night, without fail, for as long as she lived. She would take a candle and a small mirror. She would place the mirror facing the closet, and she would light the candle in front of it. She said El Coco could not stand to see itself. She said the light reflected in the mirror would drive it back into the dark places where it belongs. Did it work? I don't know. I never believed any of it. Her mother pauses. But your grandmother lived to be 94 years old. She outlived your grandfather by 30 years. She saw her children grow old, her grandchildren born. And after Mateo, she never lost another child. Part 4. The Vigil. Sofia does not sleep anymore. She has forgotten what sleep feels like, what dreams taste like, what rest means. She sits in Lucia's room now, in a chair by the door, a candle burning on the dresser, a small mirror propped against the closet. The flame flickers and dances, casting shadows on the walls, but its reflection in the mirror is steady, constant, a small circle of light that pushes back against the darkness. Lucia sleeps. Her breathing is soft, steady. She seems better these past few nights. The color is returning to her cheeks. The shadows under her eyes are fading. She laughs sometimes now, the way she used to laugh, bright and careless and free. Sofia watches the closet. The door is closed. It has stayed closed since she set up the mirror. The breathing has not returned. The presence has not returned. Maybe her mother was right. Maybe it was just stress, just fear, just the accumulated terror of a city watching its children disappear. Maybe the ritual is nothing more than a placebo, a way to calm her own mind, a focus for her fear that makes it manageable. Or maybe the mirror works. Either way, Lucia is safe. That is all that matters. That is the only thing that matters. Miguel thinks she has lost her mind entirely now. He does not say this outright, but she sees it in his eyes when he looks at her. The concern, the pity, the fear. He looks at her the way you look at a stranger, at someone you no longer recognize. You can't keep doing this, he says one morning, standing in the doorway of Lucia's room. You're not sleeping. You're not eating. You're going to make yourself sick. I have to protect her. From what? There's nothing there, Sofia. You've said yourself the breathing stopped because of the mirror. He stares at her. His face is a mask of controlled patience, of careful concern. The mirror and the candle. My grandmother used to do it. It keeps El Coco away. Miguel rubs his face with both hands. A gesture of exhaustion, of surrender. Sofia, listen to me. Please, there is no El Coco. It's a story, a myth, something parents tell children to make them go to sleep. Then why are children disappearing? Because someone is taking them. A person, a human being. The police are looking for them. They'll be caught. They've found nothing. That doesn't mean it's supernatural. His voice is sharp now, edged with frustration. It means the person is careful. It means they haven't made a mistake yet. It doesn't mean there's a monster in our daughter's closet. Sofia looks at him. Her husband, the man she loves, the man she has shared her life with for 10 years, the father of her child, the person who knows her better than anyone. He does not believe her. He will never believe her. I know what I heard. She says quietly, I know what Lucia saw. I know what I felt in that room. Then let me stay with her tonight. Let me sit in the chair. Let me see for myself. She hesitates. If Miguel sits in the room, he will see that there is nothing. He will tell her. She imagined it. He will take the mirror away, blow out the candle, put her to bed, and then the breathing will return. No, she says. I'll do it. He looks at her for a long moment. His eyes are sad, tired, defeated. I don't know how to help you, he says finally. I don't know what you want me to do. I want you to trust me. I want to. But you're asking me to believe in something I can't see. Something that doesn't exist. It exists, Sofia says. It's real. And it's patient. It's waited this long. It can wait longer. A week passes, then 2, then a month. No more children disappear. The city begins to relax. The news moves on to other stories. Politics, sports, the weather. Parents stop sleeping in their children's rooms. The cameras come down. The alarms go silent. Life returns to normal, or something that passes for normal. But Sofia does not stop her vigil. She cannot. She knows that the moment she lets her guard down, the moment she removes the mirror or lets the candle go out, El Coco will return. She is so tired now. Her eyes burn constantly, as though they are filled with sand. Her thoughts move slowly, sluggishly, like honey dripping from a spoon. She catches herself drifting off in the chair, her head falling forward, her eyes closing, and she jolts awake, heart pounding, checking the closet, the candle, the mirror. Everything is always the same. The door is closed. The candle burns. The mirror reflects the flame back into the darkness. Lucia is safe. And then, one night, she falls asleep. She does not mean to. She has been awake for 3 days, maybe 4. She has lost count. Her body simply gives out, her mind sinking into darkness, like a stone dropping into deep water. She dreams of her grandmother's house, the narrow bed, with its white sheets, the shutters closed against the summer heat, the tiles cool under her bare feet, the sound of adults laughing in the kitchen, distant and warm. She dreams of getting out of bed, walking to the door, reaching for the handle. She dreams of the closet door opening behind her. A creak, a whisper, a breath that is not her own. She wakes. The room is dark. The candle has gone out, burned down to nothing, the wax pooled on the dresser, cold and solid. The mirror lies face down on the floor, as though something has pushed it over, and the closet door is open. Sofia cannot move. She cannot breathe. She stares at that open door, at the darkness that spills out of it like water, at the shape that stands just inside the threshold. She cannot see it clearly. It is too dark. It is made of darkness, woven from shadows, assembled from nightmares. But she can feel it, a presence, a weight, a hunger that has waited a very, very long time. It does not move. It does not speak. It simply stands there, watching her, waiting. Mama, Lucia's voice, small, frightened, from the bed behind her. Sofia finds her strength. She lunges for the light switch, her hand slapping against the wall, fumbling, searching. Light floods the room. The closet is empty. The shape is gone. There is nothing but dresses on hangers, shoes on the floor, a box of old toys in the corner. But Lucia is sitting up in bed, her face pale as paper, her eyes wide and glassy. He was here, she says. Her voice is very calm, very certain. He was standing right there. Looking at me, Sofia takes Lucia and leaves the apartment. Miguel does not try to stop her. He stands in the hallway, watching her pack bags, watching her gather coats and toys, and the stuffed rabbit Lucia cannot sleep without. He looks at her with those sad, tired eyes, and he lets her go. Maybe he thinks she needs time. Maybe he thinks she needs help. Maybe he has simply given up, surrendered to something he cannot fight because he cannot see it. She does not care. She takes Lucia to her mother's house in Seville. It is a small house on a quiet street, not far from where Abuela Rosa used to live. White walls, clay tiles, a courtyard with a lemon tree. Sofia has not been here in years. Not since her grandmother's funeral. Not since they buried her in the small cemetery on the hill. Her mother meets them at the door. She is older now, her hair fully gray, her face lined with years and worry. She does not ask questions. She sees Sofia's face, the exhaustion, the terror, the desperate hope, and she sees Lucia's face, pale and thin and far too old, and she simply opens her arms. "Come in," she says. "You're safe here." That night, Sofia tells her mother everything. They sit in the kitchen, after Lucia is asleep, a bottle of wine between them, the clock ticking softly on the wall. Sofia talks and talks, the words pouring out of her like water from a broken dam. The breathing, the presence, the children who disappeared, the ritual with the mirror and the candle. The night she fell asleep and woke to find the closet open, to find the shape standing there, to find her daughter's eyes full of a knowledge no child should possess. Her mother listens. She does not interrupt. She does not tell Sofia she is imagining things. She sits very still, her hands wrapped around her wine glass, her face unreadable. When Sofia is finished, her mother is quiet for a long time. The clock ticks. The night presses against the windows. "Your grandmother told me something once," she says finally. "I did not believe her then. I am not sure I believe it now, but I have never forgotten it." She pauses, takes a breath. "She said that El Coco is not one creature. It is many. Or perhaps it is one creature that is everywhere at once, that exists in all the dark places of the world at the same time. It lives in the darkness, in the spaces between, in the places where light does not reach. It has always been there. It will always be there. What does it want? Children who do not sleep. Children who stay awake when they should be dreaming." Her mother's voice is soft, almost hypnotic. It feeds on them, not their bodies, their spirit, their life, their essence. It takes them slowly, night after night, drawing out their vitality, their light, until there is nothing left. And then it takes them entirely. It takes them into the darkness, and they are never seen again. Sofia thinks of Lucia. The pallor, the exhaustion, the shadows under her eyes. How do I stop it? You can't. Not really. Her mother looks at her with something like sorrow, something like resignation. You can only keep it at bay. The mirror, the candle, the light. These things push it back into the darkness, but they don't destroy it. Nothing destroys it. It is older than memory. It will outlast us all. Then, what do I do? Her mother takes her hand. Her grip is warm, steady, strong. You do what your grandmother did. You keep the light burning. You never let the mirror fall. You teach your daughter to do the same. And you hope, you pray, that El Coco finds easier prey. Sofia sets up the ritual in the room where Lucia will sleep. The candle on the dresser. A thick pillar candle that will burn for days. The mirror propped against the closet. A small hand mirror. Its glass old and spotted, but still reflective. The flame dances in the darkness, and its reflection dances in the glass. Two small lights holding back the infinite dark. Lucia watches her from the bed. "What are you doing, Mama?" "I'm keeping you safe." "From the man in the closet?" Sofia pauses, her hands still on the mirror. "Yes." "Is he real?" Sofia looks at her daughter. Her bright, brave, fearless daughter who has spent too many nights being watched by something that should not exist. Her daughter who has felt its breath on her face, who has seen its shape in the darkness, who has learned fear in the deepest and truest sense of the word. "Yes," she says, "he's real. But he can't hurt you as long as you follow the rules." "What rules?" "Always go to sleep when you're told. Never stay awake past your bedtime. Never look into the closet when it's dark. And always, always keep the candle burning. And the mirror facing the closet." Lucia nods solemnly. Her eyes are serious, far too old for her face. "Okay, Mama. Promise me." "I promise." Sofia kisses her forehead. She turns off the light. She leaves the candle burning, the mirror propped against the closet, the flame reflected in the glass. She sits outside the door, in a chair her mother has placed there. She listens. The night is quiet. The house is still. The candle burns steadily, its light pushing back against the darkness. From inside the room, she hears Lucia's breathing slow and steady, the soft rhythm of a sleeping child. Nothing else. Years pass. Lucia grows up. She becomes a young woman. Smart, capable, strong. She studies hard, graduates with honors, builds a career. She still fears nothing, except the thing that breathes in the dark. She follows the rules. Every night, without fail. The candle, the mirror, the light reflected in the glass. She does not question it. She does not doubt it. It is simply part of her life, as natural as breathing, as necessary as her heartbeat. Sofia watches her daughter grow. She watches her go to university, make friends, fall in love. She watches her marry a kind man named Carlos, who does not understand the ritual, but does not question it. He accepts it the way he accepts everything about Lucia, completely, unconditionally, without reservation. She watches her have a daughter of her own, a little girl named Rosa, named for her great-great-grandmother, born with dark eyes and a stubborn chin and a laugh that fills the room like sunlight. Rosa is 5 years old when she starts having nightmares. She wakes in the middle of the night, crying out, tangled in her sheets. Lucia goes to her, holds her, strokes her hair. "What's wrong, mi amor? What did you dream?" "There was someone in my room." Lucia's heart stutters. What did he look like? I couldn't see. It was too dark. Rosa's voice is small, uncertain, exactly the way Lucia's voice was small and uncertain 30 years ago. But I could hear him breathing, slow, like he was waiting for something. That night, Lucia calls Sofia. "It's starting," she says. Her voice is calm, but Sofia can hear the fear beneath it. Rosa sees him. She hears him. Sofia is quiet for a long moment. She is old now. Her hair is gray, her hands shake, her bones ache, but her voice is steady. "Then you know what you have to do. I know. Teach her the rules, the candle, the mirror, the light. Never let her stay awake past her bedtime. Never let her look into the closet when it's dark. And if that's not enough, it will have to be enough." Sofia pauses. El Coco has been hunting children for 1,000 years, maybe longer. It was here before us. It will be here after us. All we can do is keep the light burning and hope it passes us by. Lucia is crying now. She did not realize until this moment, until she felt the tears on her cheeks. I don't want this for her, Mama. I don't want her to spend her whole life afraid. She won't be afraid. Sofia says gently, "She'll be careful." There's a difference. Fear paralyzes. Caution protects. You were never afraid, mi amor. You were always, always careful. And you're still here that night. Lucia sits on the edge of Rosa's bed. The candle is lit. The mirror is propped against the closet. The flame dances in the darkness, and its reflection dances in the glass. "I have to tell you something," she says. "Something my mother told me when I was your age." Rosa looks up at her with wide eyes, dark and deep like pools of still water. There's something that lives in the dark places, in closets, under beds, in corners where the light doesn't reach. It's called El Coco. Like in the song? Yes. Like in the song, Lucia takes her daughter's hand, small and warm in her own. El Coco is real, mi amor. It's been real for a very long time. Longer than you or me or Abuela or anyone can remember. And it comes for children who don't sleep when they're supposed to. What does it do? Lucia thinks of her mother's words. It feeds on them, not their bodies, their spirit, their life. It takes them. She says simply, "That's why you have to follow the rules. Always go to sleep when you're told. Always keep the candle burning. Always keep the mirror facing the closet." Will that keep him away? Yes, yeah. Lucia smooths the hair back from her daughter's forehead. As long as you follow the rules, El Coco can't touch you. What if I forget? You won't forget. Lucia's voice is firm. I'll teach you. Just like my mother taught me. And one day, you'll teach your children. That's how we keep each other safe. That's how we hold back the dark. Rosa nods. Her eyes are serious, old, somehow. Older than a 5-year-old's eyes should be. I understand, Mama. Good girl. Lucia kisses her forehead. Now close your eyes. Go to sleep. She turns off the light. She leaves the candle burning, the mirror propped against the closet, the flame reflected in the glass. She sits outside the door. She listens. From inside the room, she hears Rosa's breathing slow and steady, the soft rhythm of a sleeping child. And beneath it, so faint, she might be imagining it. Another breath, deeper, slower, waiting. The story has ended, but you are still here, aren't you? Still listening, still awake. Perhaps you are lying in bed, the darkness pressing close around you, heavy and complete. Perhaps you are driving through the night, the headlights cutting through the black, the world narrowed to the small circle of light before you. Perhaps you are sitting alone in a quiet room, the shadows deep in the corners, the silence thick and expectant. Ask yourself, when was the last time you checked your closet? Not the way you do in daylight, when you are looking for a shirt or a pair of shoes, when the light is bright and the world is ordinary. The way you do in the dark, when the house is quiet and the rest of the world is asleep, when every sound seems louder and every shadow seems deeper. The way a child does. You have probably told yourself that you don't believe in monsters, that El Coco is just a story, a myth, something parents tell children to make them go to sleep. You have told yourself this so many times that you believe it, the way you believe in gravity or the sun or the ground beneath your feet. But consider this. Why do so many cultures have the same story? The thing that waits in closets, the thing that hides under beds, the thing that comes for children who stay awake when they should be dreaming. Every culture, every country, every language, the same fear, given different names. Why do we all fear the same darkness? Perhaps because the darkness is not empty. Perhaps because something has always lived there. Perhaps because El Coco is not a story. El Coco is a warning. And warnings are only given when there is something to warn about. Listen. Can you hear it? That breath, that slow exhale, that weight settling in the corner of your room. Of course, you can't. You're an adult. You've learned not to hear such things. You've trained yourself to ignore the sounds that don't belong, to explain away the creaks and whispers and shifts in the darkness. You've built walls around your fear, and you've told yourself those walls are strong. But sometimes, late at night, when the world is very still and very quiet, you remember. You remember what it felt like to be a child, to lie awake in the dark, certain that something was watching you, certain that if you moved, if you breathed too loudly, if you opened your eyes, it would see you. It would know you were awake. It would come. You are not a child anymore. You have told yourself there is nothing to fear. You have told yourself the darkness is empty. The closets hold only clothes. The sounds in the night are only the house settling. But tonight, when you turn off the light, check the closet, just to be sure. And if the door is open, even just a little, even just a crack, close it. Don't look inside. Just close it and go to sleep. El Coco is very patient. He has been waiting for a long time. He can wait a little longer. Dormet, Nino. Dormete. Ya, que viene el Coco y te comerá. The end. Thank you for listening to The Wait in the Dark, an El Coco story by Mikey of Saltline Studio. If you enjoyed this story, please like, subscribe, and share. Until next time, keep your salt lines drawn.